right. Hey everyone. Good to be here in Santiago. I'm Luis. I basically work on field operations at WorldCoin. And today I want to tell you a story. And I want to tell you a story of why and how we're scanning the eyes of 1 billion people with a shiny ball. So, to understand this story, we have to go back to why we are doing this. So the world is changing fast. Like, we are doing a ton of development in biotech. We are finding new ways to produce energy. We're also changing the way in which we interact with computers through, VR, AR. One of the biggest changes we believe is going to happen in the next 50 years or so is the transition to artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence will start solving a lot of tasks for us. And it will be very good because a lot of mundane tasks will disappear. But it might also be bad for some people because a lot of jobs might disappear as well. So until this time, we basically have the chance to define what this world is going to look like and how everything is going to work. And we strongly believe that until this time, we have to implement a new financial network. And this financial network has to be inclusive, has to be fair, and has to be able to enable stuff like UBI. So just to explain quickly, what is UBI? UBI is Universal Basic Income. Basically what it means is that if you have an entity or like a company or even a state that produces a lot of value, you basically take that value and you distribute it evenly to people. And that means that everyone, regardless if you have a job or not or what you're doing, you're just receiving a certain amount of money every month or so to make sure you can live. And this brings us back to this financial network that we are building. So first off, we strongly believe this needs to be global. It needs to be internet native. And right now, the greatest way to do this is through decentralized blockchains. Like us in particular, we're very excited about the Ethereum blockchain. That's why we're here. So basically, at WorldCoin, we build technology to connect the world financially and ultimately enable UBI. So what are we actually doing? So we've all established, I think everyone here thinks crypto is awesome. Now, the problem with crypto is that still very few people actually use it. And the other problem is that a lot of the value is being hoarded by a few people, right? Like us sitting here, we know of all the airdrops, we've bought many tokens early, right? And when we are in it. But for most people, they're not part of it. And we really think that sucks, basically. So what if Bitcoin, like 10 years ago, started by giving away one piece to each person? What would this do? This would onboard people to crypto. It would educate people about crypto. It would show them how to use it. It would also spread the value. Now, we can't go back 10 years and change it, so this is why we created the WorldCoin token. So WorldCoin token is basically a token that anyone can claim as long as they are a human being. And there's 10 billion total tokens, and every person gets a part for free. 80% goes to the world, basically everyone. 10% goes to fund the project. There's basically a bunch of things we need to build, and I'll dive into this in a second. And 10% goes to global contributors that actually help us make this a reality. So this brings us to one of the hard problems, right? Like, how do you make sure that every person only claims their part once? right? Like, you give away something for free, people are going to want to claim it many times. And this brings us to a problem that is native to the internet, and that is called Sybil attacks. So Sybil attacks basically means that, on the internet and with computers, you can just create infinite accounts of something, right? You can build bots, you can build computers that create multiple accounts, and this is a problem in Web 2 as well, right? The big problem on Twitter is just a ton of bots on there. And we want to solve that. And we want to solve that also in a private, and in an inclusive, and in a scalable way. So we tested out a bunch of different stuff. Like we thought about, can we just do email or phone verification? Now, problem with email and phone verification is just that we've seen it in Web 2, it doesn't really work. Like, you can create many emails, you can create many phone numbers. Then, official ID or KYC, that's an existing solution, but it would be very weird, right, to have a huge database of everyone's identity like that online. And also there's many countries where this is just not that accessible. Then another thing we thought about is Web of Trust. Web of Trust is basically just means that, if I'm a trusted person that, holds a wallet, I would say, I trust that you are also a person, and I basically verify you through that. Now, this is a really great idea. The problem is it doesn't really work from 0 to 1, right? Like, after we've signed up maybe first billion people, then that's actually how we imagine scaling WorldCoin in the long run. We need to get to this 1 billion people first. This brought us to biometrics. So, good thing about biometrics is we're all human. We all basically have something that shows our humanness and shows that we are unique, and that is basically what biometrics is all about. So then we had to basically figure out, what kind of biometrics do we use? So fingerprints, right? Those are used on phones. Now the problem with fingerprints is they are great for, if you want to verify that it's you, right? The phone knows it's you, it just has to check if it's you again. Now, it doesn't really work well if it's supposed to tell you it's not you. Because suddenly you can actually go and you can change, you take a knife or whatever, you change your fingerprint, suddenly you're a different person. Then we thought about face ID on the iPhone. The problem is if you just scale to enough people, some people just look similar, and you actually cannot scale this far enough to 1 billion people. Then there's other technology like your palm. This is also similar problems to fingerprint. Then DNA, right? We know that's unique, but this would be really creepy and also very weird to take DNA of everyone. So this brought us to the iris. So the iris is very unique. So basically everyone has a unique iris. It's also can scale, and you also can't really change your iris, right? So this is what we went with. And now, how do we basically get the iris information, right? We looked at phone sensor. That would be the best, right? Like, everyone can just verify on their phone, and that's it. The problem with phone sensors is just that resolution is not high enough. So then we thought about, there's off-the-shelf hardware, right? Can we just use existing iris scanners? And the problem is, it's pretty easy for people then to hack it, or there's just not enough security in that. So we decided the worst idea, which is to build custom hardware. Custom hardware is very hard to build. It takes a ton of time, and we've spent around 2 years building this, and it brought us to this beauty. And I actually have one with me here. And this has gone through a bunch of different iterations to get it to where we have it today. And basically what this device does is it makes sure you're real. So it takes a picture of the iris, then it converts that picture into a code. You can then delete those pictures, and it only uploads this code, basically. And then whenever you would try to, come and verify again, it would produce that same code, and it would know it's you. So then, as soon as it has registered this iris code, it basically then registers your world ID, which is a thing that shows that you're unique. So this is great. So like we actually got away with not needing any of these things. Now, we wanted more privacy, because this is really, really important to us. So we found a very cool piece of technology called zero-knowledge proof. And I really won't get into how this works right now. It's quite complicated. But basically what it does is it anonymously verifies that someone is a real person and is claiming WorldCoin only once. So basically, what this brings us to is World ID. And World ID is like a privacy-first, decentralized identity, and it's enabled by anonymous proof of personhood. It's open protocol and fully self-custodial. And basically what World ID is it's not an iris code, it's not the code that was produced essentially, it's not a wallet, it's a fully new key that is created through this. And basically what it says is, I'm a real person and I've never claimed WorldCoin before. Now, the great thing about it is you don't only use it for just WorldCoin, right? Like you can use it for a bunch of different things. You can use it for, checking if I've never voted in this poll before. I have never minted this NFT. I've never redeemed this airdrop. So basically, any protocol can use this for identifying uniqueness and humanness. So basically what it looks like, it's quite simple. It looks like a CAPTCHA. So you know how when you have to select those images to prove you're human, it's basically like that. And you can verify with your wallet, and it then sends a zero-knowledge proof, and then you can verify that you've never done this before. So yeah, so brings us basically to, we have some more resources you can read about online. So we actually picked this thing apart at ETH Global Conference in New York. We also have a blog post which actually dives a lot deeper into this and explains basically how we use those zero-knowledge proofs for it. And then also we have a page which in like very simple terms explains the privacy part of it. So, what now? So, what should people use this stuff for today? What should that experience be like? So we created an app, the WorldCoin app. And this is a very simple Ethereum wallet that basically lets you claim your WorldCoin. It also gives you a bunch of other tokens. So we actually have something we call drops. It's a learn-to-earn program. So many people who haven't been into crypto before, they can actually learn about it, and they can earn some of their first crypto through going through that. And then the World ID, of course. So to summarize, it's a very simple self-custodial Ethereum wallet. We're not trying to be the MetaMasks or like the Rainbow wallet. We're trying to be a very simple wallet that basically anyone can use. So we have all this stuff, so we had to go out into the world and we had to test it. So we tested it a bunch of different places. We went to shopping malls, we went to universities around the world. We also went around the streets. And we've tested in like 27 countries so far. And we've gotten a lot of learnings about it. Most people are very, very excited about it. Some people have also, been very negative about it. And we've heard, and the problem mainly here is actually it's our fault. Like, we've been very preoccupied in building this thing, and we've not been good at communicating. So, we hear stuff like, connecting my iris to my wallet, which is just simply not true. But we've just been very bad at communicating something that's this complicated. And then you might be, some people might say, biometrics are never okay. And if you believe that, and you don't use Face ID, you don't use fingerprint, then that's fair. Maybe it isn't for you, and maybe you want to wait until we have the web of trust. And we've also heard stuff like, why are you in developing countries? You're preying on the poor, stuff like that. And basically, for us, it would be much easier to just operate in Europe and the US, where we're based. But we truly believe that crypto has to be for all. And that means that, a person in Kenya, a university student who's excited about crypto, should be able to access it just like someone in Europe. So, we have had a quite successful beta. There have been like 650,000 participants. And while that is far away still from the 1 billion, it has only been with 30 orbs. So we're going to produce many more of those and basically bring it global. So what's next? So first off, we are open sourcing. We have open sourced the World ID part. We have open sourced part of the app. We're working on open sourcing the hardware. We're working on open sourcing the software throughout next year of the orb, and then also the AI segmentation that does this. Another thing we are working on is the World ID SDK. So we haven't officially launched this yet, but we've had it at a few conferences. So actually, if you go to id.worldcoin.org, you can actually go and develop your own applications with World ID, and you can use that. Then the next thing is scaling. So we need to scale, right? Like, now we've had around 30 orbs out there, and we are producing hundreds in the next coming months and many thousands over next year. We're also growing the team. So, if any of this resonates with you and you think it's a cool story, then definitely, hit us up, go to our website if you're interested. And even if the role is not there, just talk with us, and we're always excited to work with people. Then we're decentralizing. So, the end goal is that, we don't really need to be this one company doing it. We want to decentralize it fully. Hardware is quite hard to decentralize, but we're working on it. And over the next coming months, we'll talk more about it. Then also, we need to launch the token. So this is coming soon as well. So yeah, you can join Discord /WorldCoin. And yeah, if you have ideas, if you have any feedback, any criticism, we're super happy to chat about everything there. And yeah, this brings us back to basically what we are building. We're building the WorldCoin token, basically to distribute this ownership to everyone. Then we're building World ID, which is, showing that you are human. And then we're building the app to basically be able to onboard everyone with it. Cool. That was it for me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Luis, for